Shep Hyken is our guest, of course, Chief Amazement Officer, one of my man crushes here. I met him in a keynote speaking event. He's one of the best keynote speakers in the country, but he's also one of our favorite guests because he talks about consumer amazement. He's the author of that book called I'll Be Back.
New York Times, Wall Street Journal best-selling author Shep Hyken, heir to the Hyken fortune, by the way. Always love to have him on the show. Mr. Hyken, how are you, sir?
Hey, I think I'm going to quote somebody. A big howdy to ya.
Yeah. That is not a thing. That's not going to be a thing.
Shep, it's on T-shirts everywhere.
Let's not make that a thing.
Yeah.
Shep, great to see you, brother.
Great to be seen. Great to be back.
We got to get you in studio at some point in the West Coast. I'd love to see you. I miss you. I need to have you in studio here. I got a question for you. One of the first things you said when we first started having you on the air a number of years ago was that one of the issues with customer service issues is the velocity of response. And my book, 1 Hour Advantage, or Get More Sizzle Done, as the others like to call it. I would argue that because I'm very prescriptive about my scheduling. I'm defensive of my white space in the calendar. I always say if you let somebody waste 10 minutes of your time, or you waste 10 minutes of your time every day, that's 61 hours a year.
Yikes.
My analogy is, if you get on the phone with a credit card company, there's your 10 minutes of the day that you're wasting, or any customer service. Talk about velocity. Is that improving? Is that improving anymore, or is it still something you have to drive into your clients?
Well, here's my question. Would you rather get your question answered right away, or do you want to wait 10 minutes or even longer? And
or by an automatic prompt thing, like where it goes 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, because I'm going crazy because I don't want to have to 10 minutes just to get to somebody.
I know, and you're screaming, representative, representative. Customer
and it
support.
says, I don't understand, representative. Representative. Representative.
One of the questions we asked in our annual research, have you ever screamed in the phone, agent or representative, over and over and over again? I can't remember the number, but it's a very, very high percentage of customers. Here's the point. Digital or AI customer service is becoming better and better, and people need to recognize they have a choice. Do they want the information now, or do they want to go through the pain and friction of being put on hold, asking a question, maybe being transferred to someone else? And many times, so many times, the questions they're answered can be happening digitally. By the way, what's the first thing you do when you want to find a phone number of a company?
Ask
you
her.
go on their website, right?
Yeah.
So you Google. Yeah, you're already going digital.
On that subject,
go a little bit further, do it.
On that subject, Shep, my barber, okay, because I've got this sumptuous hairline, I've got to see him every 3 days. My barber, who opened up his own little barbershop in a nice part of town, you can book online, but he also has a virtual assistant that he played for me the other day, which is fantastic. It doesn't sound like the old virtual assistants. It's, hey, I can help you here. What would you like to do? Get a haircut. Okay, he's available. It was amazing how within 30 seconds I could make an appointment, literally 30 seconds, and choose appointments that are available next week for this guy based on a virtual assistant. Is that part of the answer, do you think, or is that still a danger?
100% part of it. But think about it. You call a doctor's office, your dentist, to get a haircut. Why not go digital? Oftentimes, especially doctor things are a little bit confidential. So you have an account, you log in, you put in your password, and you get to look at the schedule availability and compare it to yours. And you don't have to call, and you don't have to have somebody put you on hold, and then they come back, and then they're interrupted by somebody that's in the waiting room that wants to talk to whoever it is that's talking to you. And next thing you know, it is 10, 15 minutes of wasted time when it can all be done in a minute or two.
Hey, Shep, I'm going to tell you, just to let you know, I just heard that you could have a full head of hair if you were not getting your haircut at the dentist. I'm just telling you right now. Boom.
Shep, Shep, I actually have anxiety now when I go get a cup of coffee and I know that barista is going to spin that keypad around to me, and there's going to be the options of a 20, 22% or 25% tip.
30%.
30, okay, and then there's also that little box that says no tip. And I'm at the point now where...
But then you're embarrassed. You're like...
Well, I'm kind of losing the embarrassment, though. I'm just going like... and looking right at the face when I hit no tip.
So you've turned into Get Off My Lawn, Dad.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
Well, I've gone to buy a candy bar at a convenience store.
No.
Yeah.
Have you heard that bit about Bill Burr that said, he talks about, look, I paid for 100% of a sandwich. I'm not going to get the mayo package and put it on it. I'm the customer. Last time I knew, I wasn't working for Subway. So it's sort of like, when did I become the cashier for Subway? Now, look, I understand the convenience factor. And I also understand maybe there's a sense of security knowing that you're in part of control of the transaction because of all the fraud that's gone on with digital currency and stuff. However, I'm not sure that that's the way we want to go, the road we want to go down. Here, let me talk to you about this, Shep. I can tell you I had the most satisfying customer service experience about 10 years ago. I talked to you about this recently.
It took 10 years ago?
No.
Last...
I remember being on the phone with Best Buy, okay? And it was a ridiculous notion. I can't remember what the matter was, but it was just ridiculous. Like, got charged 3 times for something, and it was like, the lady was absolutely rude. So I went and I bought a share of Best Buy stock, BBY. Called the CEO of the company. You're never going to get the CEO, but you get I said, hi, I'm a shareholder, I'm also a consumer, and I got a problem. And one of the greatest things was, I got a call back from the assistant to the CEO. Said, let me get on this. Who talked to the regional manager? Who talked to the store? Who talked to the phone bank? And it was like, it was satisfying. What it brings, look, I got my pound of flesh. But response to consumer feedback is something that was lacking for probably the last 15 years. Is that changing?
I think it's still sometimes difficult to get what you want, and I think the way you did it was perfect. I suggest to everybody, if you have a real problem, by the way, I had a similar experience with Best Buy, not with being overcharged, but I bought an item that they said was back ordered. It was a computer. It was a great price. Why was it a great price? It was the last generation of technology. They kept saying, when we get it in, we'll send it to you. I said, you're never going to get in the last wave of technology.
By the way, yeah, right, exactly, right. Yeah, and they sent you a TRS-80 computer from Radio Shack
exactly.
20 years later.
It was a Commodore, actually.
Claude, last question. I'm sorry, Shep, last question for you. There is an employee golden rule in terms of customer service. And you've talked about this on stage, you've talked about this in your book. Talk about what it is, because I think it's important.
Essentially, it's if you're a manager or leader, you treat the people who work for you the way you want your customer treated, if not even better, because you set the tone, you demonstrate the behavior, and what's happening on the inside is felt on the outside by the customer.
There you go. Shep Hyken.
Shep Hyken, New York Times, Wall Street Journal bestselling author of I'll Be Back, How to Get Customers to Come Back Again and Again. The good news, he will be back on our show as well.